I'm going to show you a house on the market right now for $39,900. Not a shack, not a ruin, a 1940-built home, nearly 2,000 square feet, a covered porch that has been standing since before your parents were born, sitting under live oaks that nobody planted, that nobody rushed, that just grew because they had the time and the ground to do it. That's the thing about a house like this. Suburbs get built in a season. This kind of place takes a lifetime to become what it is. $39,900. I have 5 properties to show you today. This is the last one. Everything before it gets cheaper. Every single one of them is going to surprise you. There's a version of retirement that most people never actually plan for, where the morning starts slow, the coffee's already made, and the only thing on the calendar is whether to fish the creek or sit on the porch until noon. No traffic, no commute, no HOA telling you how tall your grass can be. Just land, trees, water, and time that finally belongs to you. Texas, no state income tax. Property taxes on rural land that run a fraction of what you'd pay in Florida or California. Groceries, fuel, utilities, all genuinely low. And in the corners of this state that most of the country hasn't discovered yet, you're not trading beauty for affordability. You're getting timber, water, wildlife, and quiet at a price that most people stopped believing existed. I go through hundreds of rural listings every week, farmhouses, timberland, waterfront parcels, looking for the rare ones that still represent genuine value. Today, I found 5 of them. We start at $180,000 and work our way down, all the way to that house you just saw. Let's go. 7.63 acres, unrestricted, on a lake in East Texas for $180,000. Here's the thing about waterfront land in this state. Most of it is buried behind HOA rules or priced so high that the water view starts feeling like a penalty, not a gift. Unrestricted lakefront at this price with a livable structure simply does not last. The property sits on Drake's Branch Lake outside of Hillister in Tyler County, deep in the piney woods of southeast Texas. The house is an A-frame, 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1,640 square feet on a slab. There's a loft with a balcony looking down over the living area. Picture a slow Saturday morning up there. Coffee, ceiling rising around you, pine trees through the upper windows, nothing on the calendar. That's the kind of space this is. Not a showpiece, a sanctuary. The infrastructure here is serious for a property this size. A large detached garage, multiple carports for boat parking and RV access, a dedicated RV shed, and a separate outbuilding with its own covered porch. Real potential as a guest suite, a mother-in-law cottage, or a home office in the trees. The kitchen flows into a breakfast area that connects naturally to the living room. Inside utility room, which matters more than you think until you're 2 years into a place without one. What you're really buying is unrestricted land. Walk to the water's edge with a fishing rod and no agenda. Deer, wild turkey, and bass don't care what you paid per square foot. One honest thing, the road in right now is a dirt track. Current access is foot traffic, ATVs, or side-by-sides. The listing is upfront about this. Improving that road is a cost and a project. Budget for it. 10 miles north, Woodville has groceries, fuel, and Tyler County Hospital. South of the property sits the Big Thicket National Preserve, 113,000 acres, 9 distinct ecosystems, often called the biological crossroads of North America. Hiking, paddling, birding. Martin Dice Jr. State Park is a reasonable drive-away with boat launches and fishing piers. Unrestricted lakefront in a quiet corner of East Texas, livable A-frame, meaningful outbuildings, and the kind of privacy people from California spend twice this price chasing and never quite find. $180,000. Now, I know some of you are thinking that's still more than I want to spend, so let's drop the price by $70,000 and watch what happens.
Well, to be honest, this property I wouldn't say is for everyone. The interior needs some work, but considering the acreage, the exterior, and a peaceful and beautiful surrounding, some of you must be interested in it. But if you're not, feel free to move to next properties that are ready to move in. $110,000, 5 acres of mature East Texas timber. This is a 2010 built 1,100 square foot single story on a slab in the Curtis community, Jasper County, off Farm to Market Road 777, deep in the piney woods. Covered front porch with 2 chairs worth of morning waiting for you. The land is where this earns your attention. 5 acres of mature pines with a genuine canopy, the kind of shade that changes how a property feels entirely. No fencing means the acreage feels open, continuous, fully yours. The woods you walk into after dinner just to decompress, to hear something other than traffic, to remember what stillness actually sounds like. The price history tells you something useful. It started higher last May and has come down to $110,000. That's real negotiating room for a buyer who comes prepared. Jasper earns its nickname, the Jewel of the Forest. Sam Rayburn Reservoir, the largest lake entirely within Texas, is 18 miles away. In 2018, it was named the #1 bass fishing lake in the entire country. Not in Texas, the country. Angelina National Forest begins just north. Christus Jasper Memorial Hospital is in town for emergency care. 5 acres of timber, solid 2010 home, one of the most recreation-rich counties in Texas, $110,000. The next one saves you another $7,000 off that and gives you more of everything. More bedrooms, more bathrooms, more square footage, more land, and somehow less money. Here's why. 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, over 2,000 square feet, nearly 6 acres of mature timber, $103,000. That's $49 a square foot. I've paid more than that for a weekend at a decent motel. Let me tell you what's actually going on here, because most people scrolling past this are making a serious mistake. This is a 1970-built ranch-style brick home on 5.72 acres outside Bivins in Cass County, northeastern Texas, bordering both Arkansas and Louisiana. The brick exterior is the first thing that earns your trust. Brick from 1970 doesn't ask much of you, it just keeps standing. Then there's the metal roof. You're not replacing it every 15 years the way you would composite shingles, and in East Texas storms, that compounds into real money saved over a retirement. 2 separate living spaces inside, and I want you to think about what that actually means for someone who finally has time. 1 room for everyday life and another that's just yours. A reading room, a hobby space, a place where your fly tying gear can stay spread out on the table for a week without being in anyone's way. The kitchen connects directly into a generous dining area, a double oven already included. Picture a slow Sunday in these woods, something long and unhurried in the oven, the dining room table set for whoever's coming, the pines pressing quietly against the windows. The primary bedroom is 15 by 12, a real room, built when people understood that a bedroom should have space to exist in, not just sleep in. And there's a fireplace in the living room that on a cold January night with timber surrounding you on every side becomes the entire reason you came inside at all. Well water, septic in place, monthly carrying costs after purchase are remarkably light, and for anyone on a fixed income managing a retirement budget carefully, that is not a small thing. This is the kind of setup where the land does the living and the house stays out of the way. Now the honest part, and I'm not going to soften this. This is a foreclosure. The photos are encouraging for a 55-year-old home, but a foreclosure always deserves a professional walkthrough and a contractor's eye before any offer is signed. Walk in with eyes open. Atlanta, Texas, 7 miles away, has Christus St. Michael Hospital, groceries and daily needs. Wright-Patman Lake, 33,000 acres, 170 miles of shoreline, bass, crappie, catfish, and wintering bald eagles. Less than an hour south, Jefferson, Texas, the most beautifully preserved small town in East Texas, draws visitors year-round for its antebellum homes and the legendary Caddo Lake just beyond its edges. 4 bedrooms, metal roof, brick construction, 6 acres, well water, $103,000. Quick pause. If this kind of search is useful to you, hit subscribe. I go through hundreds of listings every week so you don't have to. New video every week. Back to it. Now we drop another $24,000, and this next one comes with something I haven't shown you yet. And once you see where this property sits, you're going to understand why it costs what it costs. What you're looking at right now is the Sabine River. Half-mile-long white sand beaches, the kind people drive 3 hours from Houston to reach on a weekend. This is down the street from a house asking $79,000. Not in a floodplain, 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. This is a 1998-built, 1,568 square foot manufactured home on just over half an acre in Bonweir, Newton County, right on the Louisiana border in the Piney Woods. Block and beam foundation. The floor plan is practical and spacious. Living room at the center, large kitchen, utility room, and a primary suite with a soaking tub, separate shower, double sinks, and a walk-in closet. That's a bathroom that would cost more to build than this entire property is asking. But here's what actually stopped me when I went through these listing images. 2 porches. A covered front porch for your coffee in the morning, and a screened-in back porch. If you've ever lived in deep East Texas, you know exactly what that screened porch means. That's not a feature, that's the difference between a life lived outside and a life lived looking out through glass. Spring evenings in the pines, the sound of the river a few hundred yards away, the light fading slow the way it does in the south in September, going pink, then gold, then gone, while you sit in a chair that belongs exactly where it is. No mosquitoes winning, no reason to go in. Now think about what down the street from the Sabine River means on a Tuesday. Not a Saturday, a Tuesday when the weekend crowd has packed up and driven back to the city, when the water is clear and still and quiet. You walk down, the sand is cool, there's nothing on the river except maybe one other person who also had the good sense to end up here. The catfish don't know what day it is, neither do you anymore. That's the life this property is selling, and it's asking $79,000 for it. Toledo Bend Reservoir, 185,000 acres, the largest man-made lake in the south, sits to the northeast. Sabine National Forest frames the landscape with trails and primitive camping. Move-in ready, $79,000. Near Sabine River, not a flood zone. That is not a compromise, that is a find. We started at $180,000, we're now at $79,000. And I saved the last one for last because it's the cheapest property in this entire video, and I think it's going to be the one that stays with you. You already saw it in the first 10 seconds. Let me tell you the whole story. $39,900. I want you to think about what it took to build this house. 1940, the materials were cut, hauled, and assembled by hand in a small Texas county seat before World War II ended, before the interstate highway system existed, before the suburbs that most people are now trying to escape had even been drawn on a map. This house was already old when the first shopping mall opened. It was already old when the first HOA was invented. Every generation of American restlessness passed by this address, and this house just stayed put. There's something about a building that does that outlasts every trend and every panic, that changes how it feels to live in it. The live oaks and magnolias shading this lot have been growing for generations. You cannot buy that. You cannot manufacture it. It just takes time, and this lot has had it. The home sits on just under 3,200 square feet, right in the middle of Newton, Texas, county seat of Newton County, the easternmost county in the state. 1,904 square feet, 3 bedrooms, a full bath, and a half bath. The first thing that caught my eye in the listing images was the porch, not a decorative strip, a proper covered porch with wooden paneled walls, glass windows, and a ceiling fan, the kind that wraps you in that protected from the world feeling on a summer evening when you have absolutely nowhere to be. Inside, the kitchen has a tiled floor and light blue painted cabinets that are original, dated, and completely charming. Picture a slow morning in there, the kind you dreamed about during 30 years of commutes. Eggs in the pan, coffee already made, the windows letting in the early light through the oaks. No alarm has gone off, nothing is waiting for you.
The kitchen isn't big or fancy. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to be yours, and it is. A large additional room beyond the 3 bedrooms flexes as a den, hobby room, or guest space. Wood and tile floors throughout, electric fireplace, a wide gravel driveway canopied by those oaks and magnolias. The honest downside, and I'll say it plainly, window units only, no central air. In Southeast Texas summers, that is a real quality of life issue. It's the first thing I'd budget to address, and you should go in knowing it's coming. Newton has all public utilities connected, water, sewer, gas, electric, a genuine advantage over most rural properties at this price. Toledo Bend Reservoir is 30 miles east, 185,000 acres, the largest man-made lake in the South. People plan vacations around it. This would be your backyard lake. One more thing. As of filming, this property shows as contingent. Someone else is already in the process, but deals fall through. If this one speaks to you, keep watching it. A 1940 home, nearly 2,000 square feet, a covered porch older than most of the cities people are trying to escape, sitting under oaks that took 80 years to earn their shade.
$39,900. 5 properties, 5 very different situations, one state that most of the country still hasn't figured out. A 7-acre unrestricted lakefront A-frame, 5 acres of mature piney woods timber around a solid 2010 home, a 4-bedroom brick home with a metal roof on 6 acres of timber for $49 a square foot, a move-in ready 3-bedroom with white sand river beaches down the street, and a 1940 covered porch home under live oaks that took 80 years to grow for less than $40,000. None of these are perfect. Every one of them is real. Which of these 5 would you actually move to? Drop it in the comments. If you found even one of these worth knowing about, subscribe. That's what this channel does every single week. I go through hundreds of listings and bring you the handful that actually make sense. You don't have to dig through the noise. I'll do it. Hit the bell. Next week's video covers a state where one of the properties is under $50,000 with a water body. These parts of Texas aren't for everyone, but if you've been wondering whether the slower, quieter, more independent version of life is still financially within reach, this state keeps answering that question in ways that most of the country stopped believing were possible. I'll see you in the next one.